I want to go through this problem and give you kind of a careful reading of it just to make sure that you're on the right track. So Mike and Dominique go to a party with four other couples. Each person there shakes hands with everyone he or she doesn't know. Later, Mike does a survey and discovers that every one of the 9 other attendees shook hands with a different number of people. How many people did Dominique shake hands with? So the first thing I notice is what I need to find. I need to figure out something about Dominique. How many people did Dominique shake hands with? Okay, in order to do that, I'm going to need to figure out a lot of other things because nowhere, Dominique's barely mentioned in all this information I get. So let's look at this other stuff and see what we can find out. First, notice that Mike and Dominique go to a party with 4 other couples. From that, I know that Mike and Dominique are a couple. Okay. Each person there shakes hands with everyone he or she doesn't know. Okay, so people are shaking hands with people they don't know. So people shake with people they don't know. All right, what else do we see here? Later, Mike does a survey and discovers that every one of the 9 other attendees shook hands with a different number of people. Before we focus on the handshaking, note here every one of the 9 other attendees tells me that there are only 10 people at the party. Okay, that's really subtle, but there are only 10 people here. There are only these Mike and Dominique and these 4 other couples. So 10 people at party. Okay, let's go back to that sentence. Later, Mike does a survey and discovers that every one of the 9 other attendees shook hands with a different number of people. So, besides Mike, everyone shook hands with a different number of people. Okay, from just the statement, I'm not sure who Mike shook hands with or if he shook the same number of hands as someone else, but I know for sure that besides him, from that statement, besides him, every one of the other 9 attendees shook hands with a different number of people. Okay, those are kind of the basic things that I get when I read this. Now, if you want to go think about it for a little bit, or you're like, oh, okay, now I understand the problem, go ahead. In a couple seconds here, I'm going to start to talk about, so what can I infer from some of this just for kind of a first few steps. So I'll be back in just a second. Okay, so if people are a couple, I would think that they know each other. In fact, I'm going to take that. Couples know each other. Okay, from that, I can say that couples, well, what do people that know each other do? Well, people shake hands with, from up here, people shake hands with people they don't know, which means that if couples know each other, then couples do not shake hands. Okay, that's pretty helpful. Something else to note, this isn't really meant to be an existential problem, so people do not shake hands with themselves. Okay, so couples don't shake hands, people don't shake hands with themselves. Those two little pieces of information actually let me know that any one person can shake at most, well, let's think about this. There are 10 people at the party, but they don't shake hands with themselves, so that's 9 potential handshakes. Since everyone there is in a couple, they won't shake hands with the person they came with either, so that's 8 other people that they could shake with. So any one person can shake at most 8 hands. Okay. I think it's fair to say that, and this is just from how I understand numbers to work, any one person can shake at the least 0 hands. Right? I can't shake less than 0 hands. Now, if that had a light bulb go on in your head, stop, go, stop watching this video, go get some work done, see what you've got going on. I'm going to go one step further and then I'm going to stop. So if you've got a good idea, go work on it. If you don't have a good idea, think a little bit, and I'll be back in a second to give you kind of the next idea. Okay, look at this. I know at most I've got 8 shakes, at least I've got 0 shakes. Let's go back to this statement. Besides Mike, everyone shook hands with a different number of people. And one of the, at most I could have 8 handshakes and at least I could have 0 handshakes. Well, let's look at those numbers. So if I have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that's not a 6, 6, 7, and 8 handshakes, this is a list of 9 numbers. So, besides Mike, everyone must have shaken one number of these hands. By that I mean there's someone at the party that shook 0 hands. There's someone at the party that shook 3 hands. And there's someone at the party that only shook hands with 1 person. Someone at the party that shook hands with 8 people. If I add to this however many handshakes Mike had, here are the 10 people at the party's handshakes. Right? 0 through 8, and then however many Mike had. Finally, the last little bit I'll give you here is, if these are my handshakes, Dominique has to be one of these people, right? She's one of the 9 other attendees besides Mike. So the number of handshakes that Dominique had has to be in this list somewhere. I hope that's enough to get you started a little bit. I'm not sure if I'll post another video with another hint or not, but certainly if you feel like you need just one more push, shoot me an email. Be happy to send you a hint or talk you through what you're thinking. Otherwise, good luck. I hope your project is going well.